Okay, what is up, guys? It's me, Caleb, and this is another Game Glyph video, and we're gonna play Streets of Rage 2. This is by popular demand. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna play it right now. We're gonna play as Blaze. Blaze is dope. Blaze is fast. Has some cool moves. So let's go get it. This game has absolutely incredible music. And sound effects, in my opinion. Listen to that music. Gotta get that money. But one of my friends suggested that I play this game again. I've definitely played Streets of Rage 1 through 2 on here. I don't think I've played 3 yet on my channel, but I might. It's really, really good. Some people think it's the best. My favorite one is the second one, always. The first one's dope. It has cool specials. Like the specials in that one are really cinematic. Eat that garbage cake. It's kind of weird to think about that. Like back in the day when you're playing these old games, you would beat up like a stage prop. Ooh, suplex. And, sorry. And you would find food, like an item in here. Like, you beat this up and there's an item. Like, oh, look, a knife. Well, that kind of makes sense. But when you find like a chicken, like a roasted chicken, or like a cake with cherry on top, that's kind of weird. I don't know if I would eat that. But this is one of the best games of all time. Look at these idle animations, first of all. They're very detailed, and they're cool as heck. Kind of has the Warriors vibe to the art direction, but I love Sega Genesis games were different than Super Nintendo. They had very distinct and competitive art direction, which was neat. I talk about art direction a lot because I have a lot of friends that are like really great artists. In fact, speaking of which, I've got this artistry shirt on. One of my best buds, Ryan Calloway. That's from his company. He is absolutely the man. You should check. You should Google that sometime. Artistry gallery. He's an amazing metallurgist, a metal worker. Does all kinds of stuff. Made the pipe that she's holding right now, actually. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I got my hair cut really, really short. It feels good. It's the summer cut that it came too late. So there's all kinds of moves that you can do in this game, even though there's only really 3 buttons. Again, to me, this is the best one. I just like the way the pixel art looks. It looks so cool. Well, look at they really tried to put so much detail into it. Ah! Just want to hold on to this pipe. It's a pipe dream. Holding on to this pipe the whole time. Oh! Blah, blah, blah. Oof. Missed me. I'm more of a pipe kind of guy. Yeah, you suck, dude. Taste your own medicine there, see? Yeah. Dude's got a lot of health, I mean, for early in the game. Slice and dice. Oh, 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 oh. Gosh, kept trying to pick up those knives. He's very dedicated. Locked into it. I'll just cut him up off screen. We got him. He's dead. I hate tables. I'm just here to destroy your furniture. See what I mean? Like, what is that? A giant candy apple, or is it a cake? I can't remember. But it gives you full health. Because by the end of the game, it just gives you diabetes. I want these jackets. They have a different color for every day of the week. Oop. Didn't mean to do that. That's her underwhelming special move. It's supposed to be like your behind attack or whatever. You usually don't need that. I don't really use it very much. I just kind of... I mean, there's definitely some stuff that you're going to want to learn how to do in this game. That when you jump kick like that, it helps you kind of like go between the different enemies because you can get locked into your animations. Because this game's old. It's like an early 90s, you know, Sega Genesis game. It's so good 2-player. Like, for anybody that's watching this... especially if Jeremy, if he's watching this, like, dude, we gotta play this game together sometime and like try to beat it together. It's really fun. The last time I played this, I think it was with my friend David, who's a big fan of these type of games. And he has a channel, too. It's called Dables. You should go to YouTube and type that in. And he does all kinds of cool music, and just, he's got some interesting content. Another small channel, you know, like mine. That's fine. I mean, speaking of which, like, I just want to say, like, I've had like 10 new subscribers in the last week or so, and I hope it's not just from the short form content, to be honest with you, because that would be disappointing to them, because I don't know if I could be consistent with that. I don't really enjoy doing short form content. It's kind of just monotonous and shallow for me. All right, legs. Selena Kyle over here is just trying her darndest to take me out, but it's not going to work. It's not my first rodeo. Look at that rain. Look at those droplets. I mean, you say now, of course, not a big deal, but back then, I mean, like in like 1993, even in like 1994, it's still really impressive. But by nowadays standards, a lot of people can at least appreciate the pixel art aspect of the game, because there's kind of a retro revival that always seems to happen about every 10 years, and I think we're kind of in the middle of another one. And this one does seem to have some love for Sega. Nintendo always gets plenty of love, but a lot of times Sega just kind of gets left out in the rain. No pun intended, because they kind of play second fiddle. I don't know if they don't spend as much money on their marketing, or their marketing was definitely different. It was a lot more edgy than Nintendo. Nintendo had more of a family element. I mean, some of their games had like a little bit of a dark, weird, like more Japanese influenced element, which was always so cool, like Metroid and whatever, but Fire Emblem. But this particular era of gaming, Sega had like very, edgy, competitive marketing, like Sega does what Nintendo don't. That's what they used to say in their commercials. Because when this game came out, you had Final Fight, and Final Fight was actually a disappointing port because it was only one player, and that was another really good arcade game. It was made by Capcom. Really good game, like awesome game. They're still really good games even on the Super Nintendo, but like the fact that they weren't multiplayer was just so insane, because that's like how you want to play these type of games. You play them with your friends, because one of the original games that really got people mainstream into this genre of games from the arcades, because that's how you got into this kind of stuff in the 90s, was from the arcades. They would be licensed games like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or X-Men. Like those type of games that you'd see in the arcades were what really brought the interest into the beat-em-up genre forefront. And now we look back at games like Streets of Rage and Final Fight, and we're like, okay, those are the predecessors. Those are the ones that we didn't know, but the licensed games, that's where they even got the idea from, obviously, for the most part. But, I mean, even like Batman Returns was, what a great game. Not the Sega Genesis version. I've talked about that game, I think, on this channel. That game is, I think I have it. It is a painful, painful game. But I love it. I love it so much. I wish there was like, I should play the Game Genie version of it sometime, just so I can play through all of it and experience the level design, which is so insane, and the music. I'm talking about Batman Returns for the Sega Genesis versus Super Nintendo. And the Super Nintendo version is kind of like I guess a port of the arcade, where it's like a beat 'em up, and it's actually pretty good. It's pretty darn good. Those guys kind of look like Sagat from Street Fighter, for like Bob Saget. Oh, R.I.P. No, Sagat, the Tiger Uppercut guy. Poof. Oh, I missed him. Ooh, dude, this green one right here, he's like the leader. Leader of the sidewalk now. Oh, I don't know what hit me. The pipe, the explosion, the slowdown. So you do that little cartwheel flip, get a pipe. It's good stuff. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't remember this being so just dirt bike crazy. I love that cityscape background. That's like one of my favorite pieces of pixel art. See, there's the ground chicken. Oh. I forgot I even had the fireball, or like the partial fireball. But I love that, the way it like blinks and everything. That as a kid was so dreamy. So I want a fully 3D game that looks like this game, basically. Like it literally looks, it is a pixel, it would have to be a pixel art game where they made, sorry for clicking, they make sprites that are fully realized from any possible conceivable direction, which they can do. See, that was that sprite laying down. They could make the different sprites for every angle. They've done stuff like that in some games to make, like think about Street Fighter 3. Think about how many frames of animation are in that game. Just incredible sprite-based game. One of the best sprite-based games, actually. What I need for my microphone, though, is a mute button. So when I'm not talking, I can mute it, and I won't do that. Mouth sound. Also, I need to drink more water, so I'm not so dehydrated. There he goes. Let's get on out. I don't know why I did that. Like, look at that background. That sprite-based art is so awesome. What's his name? Sugar? Surger? What is that name? What is that name? But a miserable pile of secrets. Oh, this guy actually was the bane of my discontent as a child, because I could he was so hard. He really was. Ah. Oh, and the next level, if it's what I'm thinking, is such a... I gotta get that guy out of there. Okay, now it's just me and Jet. Just backflip in your face. Ah. Reverse kick. You never see it coming. Shuriken. I'm gonna die at least once. Probably. Because I used too much of my special. And the special... Oh, I'm dead. And the special actually... I think that's the first time I died. The special actually drains your health, which is... I know what you're thinking. That's very lame, and I agree. Oh, my goodness. He's getting me. He has some sometimes unpredictable movement patterns. And if he gets you, if he grips you and takes you in the air, I don't think you can get out of that. Oh. Oh. At least I could dodge like that. Yeah, that was the only way I was ever able to beat him, was just to jump. Jump attack. Music is absolutely awesome in this game. Yes. You know it. My dog's making some racket. Look at that background. Is that Disney? Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh. And then there's like this homeless guy, right? And he's like sleeping on the bench. And then he gets up and you have to beat his drunk ass. Beating up homeless people in the streets of Rage 2. Listen to that music. I wish you could pause and the music was still playing. I remember thinking that as a kid. It annoyed me that that wasn't the case. Oh, he was meditating. Sorry to break up your meditation, Donovan. Faked him out. The graphics are so beautiful in this game. Still to this day, I mean, the detail is absolutely wild. Bare Knuckle is what this game was called in Japan, or is called. And there's no way that that guy is not supposed to look like Sagat from Street Fighter, because that's like... I think that was the original boss character from that series, and so back at this time, they were just taking shots. That's like what they did for marketing, because it wasn't... It wasn't like everybody had phones in their hands, which are, I mean, I hate to tell you guys, but the phones aren't really for your convenience. They're just to get ads to you. That's actually what a phone is for. That's what even Google is for. They don't care about having the information that you want unless it's linked to an ad. Like, it has to be that first. Because that's what technology is for when it is designed only for capitalistic gain, which is the majority of what happens in late-stage capitalism. Not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying I don't like, being able to, find anything that I want online and I can just ignore the ads until it's the same frickin' ad over and over again. And then, before you know it, you're just inundated with them. I use that man as a weapon of destruction. I wish that was more of like a knee to the nards. That would be much more satisfying. Also, I like this guy's hair color. It's like kind of like light neon green. It's like cyberpunk angel. I don't know. Yeah, I just like to suplex people. Okay, this guy is a little bit of a fancy fighter himself. He's got some moves. A little unpredictability. Suzaku is cool. Pirates that way. I love that sign. If you want to go this way, you can get some pirates. But, I mean, just if you don't want pirates, just don't go that way. I mean, if you have a problem with pirates and you go that way, I mean, you're asking for it. I mean, that's on you. I mean, these are the pirates that when I'm, going through warehouses, I'm expecting to instantly end up on the ship of, I do like how the character just like walks, just keeps walking forward is the mechanics of the game. There's really no going this way. There's only ever going this way. And you're just beating the living crap out of every single person that gets in front of you. There's no other mission in this game other than to beat the living absolute dust out of every individual that gets in front of you. Doesn't matter what they're doing. They're sleeping on a park bench. This guy's probably doing aerobics with VR. That's what he looks like he's doing, in my opinion. But he's clearly, I mean, I'm in his occupation because the sign said pirates this way. And here I am, fighting pirates. And then, of course, you would just end up back in Disneyland. Beating up more homeless people. This completely makes sense. There's no continuity issues with the progression of this game as far as levels. It just makes absolute sense. In fact, I feel like I'm living in a real-time... Oh, I love that. It's worth it just for him to do that. Beano. So this next boss right here is going to be so cool. If I can get to him. Beano over here might get in the way. I remember when I was younger, I had this friend that was like a strange person. And he had he knew somebody named Bean. And that Bean was a very, very strange person. And I was like, I remember fighting this guy and being like, is this Bean? But no, it wasn't Bean. This boss right here is this is such a departure from everything else that you do in the game. Like, it's just so out of left field compared to like what you would expect as when you're a kid and you go to the video store and you have nothing really to go off of other than magazines that you've looked at while you were in grocery stores, because you couldn't always afford to get an issue of Game Pro or Game Informer or Nintendo Power or whatever it was at the time. And I loved those magazines. I wish I had all of them. I wish I never got rid of a single issue. They are lovely. I think I have a couple laying around I need to re-find and show you guys sometime on the channel just because they're just so cool. And I'll do it with a better camera like for my iPhone or something so you can see the image quality. But overall, I mean, this is just such a weird level compared to everything else. And the music is very stressful. Oh, and even the items have an explosive repercussion. I do want to get a USB or Bluetooth Sega Genesis controller that's compatible with my Switch and my computer. That would be really freaking cool. Really, I guess I only need it for... Oh, shiz. I guess I only need it for my Switch, to be honest with you. Yeah, I hate this boss, but he's so cool looking. He's so freaking cool. It's like H.R. Geiger meets, I don't know, like a heavy metal album or something. Ah! If I could just connect with that once. There we go. There we go. You hate it. Ugh. That was another boss that when I was a kid, or like mid-boss, whatever you want to call it, we used to really be tough. Oh my god. That scream, it was painful. That was a painful one. Gotta slap that stuff and run. Yeah, I was like, wait a second. I know I saw a shadow person come down. It's freaking Blanca and Vega mixed into one character. Sabretooth Wolverine. That's literally Sabretooth and Wolverine into one character right there. That's what they did. A lot of the like Marvel and DC Comics character designs, I actually think informed a lot of the early video games like this, the art direction, because I mean that's like those guys that were making these really cool games that we love were really into those characters. I am so hungry. It just hit me. Like all I've had is oatmeal. And we're 21 minutes into this thing, baby. Oh. I mean, this is such a great port of the game. The fact that Nintendo, like, I mean, say what you want about the rivalry, but Nintendo was like, no, we appreciate what you guys did, and we have put your games, like, we know what classics are, and they wanted to preserve that era. The only thing I wish that would happen is they would release Sega CD games, because those are awesome. Maybe a couple 32X games, because there's a few of those that are really good. And then, I mean, this is just an insane thought, but if they could figure out a way to bring the Sega Saturn back, because there are so many games like Dragon Force and Albert Odyssey and Panzer Dragoon, the whole series, Nights into Dreams. I mean, you can play some of these games in other ways, but if they just brought back those games, I think there'd be a lot of really happy people. And I'm not just talking about me. There's other people that really would love that, because that architecture is lost, apparently, and it's expensive to emulate properly. And I have had some positive effect doing that, but have never been able to get it to work right in the way that I need it to. And in fact, this is a call out. If anyone knows anything about Sega Saturn stuff, let me know, because if there is anything I would like to do on this channel, it is just like highlight that game system, because I loved it. It was like my favorite game system of all time was the Sega Saturn. I'm going to do more on the Dreamcast soon, because I love the Dreamcast, and I have plenty of Dreamcast stuff to cover. So I'm gonna do that pretty soon here, because that's missing. But there's so much to cover using the Nintendo Switch because of how easy it is to just put almost any game on it and run pretty well. And it's also an easy system for me to capture. AV stuff is a little bit more challenging. Not that I can't do it, and I actually do have some equipment that I'm going to be, like I said, testing out and I'm going to use soon. But when I get like a good flow of something, like right now, I'm really able to capture stuff on my Switch, and I have a decent mic for once, so I can just sit down and make content, which is really cool. And I might even do more elaborate stuff like I used to do, and hopefully it'll be higher quality with what I have now. But I'm almost afraid to, because I get like this feeling that my equipment's going to mess up, and then I can't. I mean, like for example, if my laptop messed up, I would be so screwed, because that's really what's the key behind like the power, the brain behind everything that I'm doing, is that working, knock on wood, pretty well. And it has been. So shout out to Daniel. You are a great guy. You've definitely helped this channel. I don't even know if you watch these videos, but definitely helps. My friend Josh McGee was telling me that he was watching these videos, and I just happened to call him right in the middle of him watching one of my videos. I didn't realize that, which was kind of funny. I was flattered. I mean, I just love making content. That's the thing. Like, I am the happiest when I am in my life when I am making music and content. I have learned that I'm happy regardless of whether or not it gets well received or that a lot of people listen to it or watch it. Like, I just like to do stuff, and it's fun for me. So I'm gonna keep trying to do that. That's like my next, not my next. That's like my current thing that I'm really focusing on. It's just getting back out there and making content because it's fun, and hopefully you guys enjoy it too. Especially when it comes to this game, because if you don't know about Streets of Rage, then here you go. The Streets of Rage series is an incredible 16-bit beat-em-up game. My favorite beat-em-up game of all time, and I've never even played it once in this channel because I don't have a good way to do it, which I could change that. But it is the X-Men arcade game. Oh my god, that game's so good. Then it would be, it's actually Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hyper Fighter, or whatever it is. No, not Hyper Fighter. Oh my god, what is it? It's the one for the Sega Genesis. I'm sorry, I'm just having total brain fog right now. But, brain fart. But that one is good. I almost want to like pause and look it up just so I don't go insane. But you guys will hopefully tell me in the comments. Not the fighting game, but the beat 'em up. It's so good. And Turtles in Time, which I think is the one on Super Nintendo. I think that's what that one is called. Is it Hyperstone? Something like Hyperstone. Something like that. But anyways, that game is so good for the Sega Genesis. That's like one of the best beat 'em ups ever made. One of the best ever. I'm really, if you can't tell, I'm obviously more of a Sega head on this channel, and I'm very partial to the 16-bit era in particular. Not only because I had a Sega Genesis, so I'm very nostalgic, but I just like the way the sprites look. They're very like detailed and big, and they kind of have like this like dirty, lived-in look to them, like they're alive. And I've always really appreciated that about what Sega was doing at the time. Very strong, unique art direction that's very memorable to me and a lot of people, because Sega has kind of, like I said, made more of had a stronger sense of renaissance in this retro renaissance that's been more recent. Although it's insane the pricing of actual physical media. Like, seriously. I'm not going to name places, but I recently went to a video game store that's like right near, well, I'm not going to get too detailed about where it's near just because I don't want to incriminate anybody, but man, it is just ridiculous. Like, you got your certain games were like in trophy cases. Like I'm excited too, but if you're selling it, you're more excited about the way you're selling it, and that's not the same thing as being excited about the game. And it kind of, for me, it takes away from the experience, and I don't enjoy that as much. This guy's such a dickhead, but we'll take him out. We'll do it. Abadee. I like how the crowd, like, they really didn't have, I guess, the resources to make it to where you couldn't tell it was the same sprites, because they even put them in like the same pattern, which I remember again thinking as a kid, oh my god, I'm getting my head bashed in. This Mad Max arena over here. But just how, like, oh man, that was kind of lazy what they did with the background. Like this is the same characters. This is like a game full of clones. The clones. Limitations. Whether they be imagination, execution, they're limitations. We just beat his ass. Beat his ass. See, this is another game where, like, I'm sorry guys, this is a long video, but I just love Streets of Rage. But I'm gonna probably he was trying to run at me with his knife. I'm probably gonna call it quits here pretty soon, but I might save the state. In fact, I will save the state. And we'll come back to this game, but I need to take a break and get something to drink and eat something. And I'll probably do the next part of this right after I do that. I'm just really hungry because I went to the gym, worked out really hard. and I haven't been going as much, which is unfortunate. Because I get a little bit of social anxiety sometimes going to the gym around here because it's so crowded in California. But I make up for that by intermittent fasting. So I kind of have a low caloric intake, which is, I think, the main reason why I've lost more weight lately. I've been very busy. Work keeps me very busy. It takes a lot of energy to do it. And I do a lot of driving. It's like an hour commute for me every day. I'm also in a different role now. I got like a promotion at my job. It wasn't really something that I was intending to do necessarily, but I'm grateful for, what happens. And so it takes a little more energy just for the day-to-day part of my job than it did before. It used to just be about me. Now it's more about a team. Which is awesome. But again, like, you have to synergize people, and that takes energy. But it's very rewarding in that regard. If you can make a difference for somebody and help somebody through something, or just keep them positive, then that's something, See, I wanted to stop playing, and I haven't, because it's so fun. This game's so fun. Imagine if one of my buddies was over here and we were playing it together, like the last time I played it. It's just so fun to do that. You grab a couple brewskis, throw down on a game, One of my friends was telling me that if you are, like, drinking beer while YouTube will kind of, like, turn its nose up to that and maybe slightly shadow ban you, or at least bottleneck your viewership. I don't know. I'm not saying that to be contrarian to YouTube, because I'm actually the biggest fan of YouTube in the world. It's the only social media app I have on my entire phone. It's my favorite. Probably my favorite thing for having a smartphone is just having YouTube on my phone, because that's mostly what I listen to music on, watch videos on, and all of that stuff. I do use Spotify as well. Only because it's just easier to have that on in the background sometimes. And some of the podcasts that I like are exclusive to that, even though they come out as clips on YouTube. So you could probably could watch them all on YouTube, to be honest with you. Oh, God. Oh. Bam. There we go. Suplex. Oh. Neck grab. Look how tall that guy is. He's so tall. Makes you wonder if, like, is everybody short and he's really just like 6 foot tall, which is the same height that I am. It's not that tall, just taller than whatever Blaze is. I always play as her because I think her moves are faster, and she looks cool. Axel's kind of boring. The kid is really cool. I like Skate as well. He's really cool. Like, he's got some dope moves. Those are the two I would probably play as. And in the third one, you can unlock a kangaroo, and I pretty much just do that, and that's who I play as in that one. But I really enjoy the genre of beat-em-ups. I remember wanting to take the axe off the wall in this part. Be like, oh, can you grab that axe? I would like try to jump kick it off there. But that's when I was just a stupid kid. See, remember this guy? He was like a boss. Now he's just an annoying enemy you have to fight. That was a typical trope in these beat-em-ups. It's really like that's their version of you getting, progressive enemy difficulty, is making boss fights regular fights, but they just reduce the health of the character. So, like, he has like probably about a third of the health of the original version of him. Just like these guys off their motorcycles are just kind of like dumb, because I would take my helmet off. I love how they do that. That sound is so funny. Maybe I won't do a part 2. Maybe I'll just play this a little bit longer until I run out of lives or something and continue to die. I haven't done a really long video in a while, so maybe we will do that over here at the Game Glyphland. When I make these really long videos, I don't really feel the need to splice in my intro. Although I was thinking, I know a way now because OBS is so powerful that I know how I could do it. You could just basically make scenes for everything that you want. So I could make the very first scene just literally my intro and then come in with this. But I don't know what you guys really want. Like, do you want me to have like an intro, or do you like how I've just been kind of coming in and going straight to the content? I feel like this time period of content, people are a lot. We just don't have time. I value you guys' time. And I don't know if you just want to have to skip, you know, my intro, or if you really just, it's so enjoyable. Like, I don't think any intro is. Like, for me personally, I don't think there's any intro. Not like, I even have noticed, like, I'm a big X-Men fan, and like even the animated series or X-Men 97 now. I mean, this is gonna sound like sacrilege, so I'm sorry if my sister is listening to this. She's gonna slap me. Or Ryan, if you're listening to this, you know, whatever. But I skip it. Like, I just don't have the patience for the intro. I already know what it is. So if I already know what it is, I skip it. I don't have time. There's so much content out there I'm trying to absorb that I'll just skip the intro to everything. Like Curb Your Enthusiasm, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's Always Sunny. If it's something short, I don't care. I'll skip it. More like Beach of Rage 2. That's so pretty. But okay, so think about this. In the same generation of game systems, Donkey Kong Country. Think about the water level of Donkey Kong Country. But when this game came out, it was an amazing looking game with really good music, really good sound effects, really poppy, snappy controls that are really good, like really good controls. I'm just not the most intermediate gamer, so there's probably stuff that I'm not even doing that, you know, somebody else that's a lot more experienced would be kind of unimpressed with my gameplay here. Plus, I clearly gave myself more character, more lives, because you can go to the options and adjust how many lives that you have. Just like in Shinobi 3, I always adjust to 3 shurikens. I mean, 90 shurikens, I think it is. But like the most amount that you can do, essentially. See, that guy is dressed like I am at the gym, except for I don't tuck in my shirt to the shorts. This game's all about you fighting twins. It should be called Twins of Rage 2. Or maybe that's what the 2 is in the title. It's actually not the sequel. Streets of Rage 2 is about you just fighting a bunch of twins. Because that's like, there's so many scenarios where it's like doubles of everything. These, see how he blocked? I really don't appreciate that. Let's go. Now we're in Vietnam. Completely different environment. No, we are in South Florida. Some kind of lush. Like, how did we get here? I guess we were on the beach. So that makes sense. But there's no exposition, like, literally at all. So you have no idea, like, why you're in these places. Like, we were in, like, some alien warehouse earlier that literally came out of nowhere. We were on a pirate ship. Now we're in like a jungle. Some beautiful lush jungle. Like, maybe we'll cross over to Jurassic Park and there's velociraptors. Oh, that's another game I love. I can't believe they've ported some of those Sega ports, or not ports, but some of those Sega Genesis games, like the Jurassic Park games, Aladdin. You can like literally buy ports of those games, which I haven't done because they haven't been on sale for the Nintendo Switch. I cannot wait. I'm going to totally replay those games. Even like The Lion King. Like, seriously, those are really awesome games. I always hated how this guy laughed. Hated it. Makes you want to punch him to death. This music's so freaking cool. Yeah, I need to make another scene where it's like I can switch to that's the game with louder music and just the game without my face in it. I keep thinking of all these different things. Like, I'm understanding how to do it now, if that makes sense. But I just haven't implemented it. Right now, I'm just so enamored by the fact that I can sit down and play a game that I'm really enjoying and talk about it. And, you know, that's a thing that we should go ahead and get to really quick. Streets of Rage 2 is another 10 out of 10 game for its era. This game, there was nothing as good nothing this good that you could play at home. There was like literally nothing possibly better than this for this genre of game, and this was a very popular genre, beat 'em ups, very popular. In fact, some people even called them like Streets of Rage games or Streets of Rage clones, side scroller beat 'em ups. There's there's different terms or whatever, but you just got to do a bunch of crowd control now. They're flooding me, and it's running pretty good. There's not really any slowdown. I can't remember if there is on the actual. Oof, that's it, guys. We're gonna call it that. Caleb Michael Knight Riley. I'm gonna continue, but I'm gonna pause, and then this is the cool thing about this now, is I can go to the suspend menu. And I can now save by creating a suspend point right here. And I know most people know this, but for those that don't, like, this is another cool thing. And I can take a break because you could not do that like back in the day. There's no way your mom was going to let you leave your Sega Genesis on for 4 hours or an hour. Like, if my parents walked in and my system was on, like, there were times where I know they turned it off, or somebody else did that was in the house. I don't know who, but I didn't. And I was in the middle of playing like something probably pretty difficult, and like Chakin the Forever Man or something, or Jurassic Park or something. And you can maybe have passwords, but they weren't always like great with the password systems. It may just save the level you're on. I think it was like the Sonic Spinball game. Like, that game was really, really hard. At least I think so. But I still liked it. I know a lot of people don't really like it. I really like Sonic Spinball. But man, I would pause that game, and I remember that was one that would get turned off sometimes because I would have to take breaks. I would get so mad. It was so hard. Just like Mortal Kombat too, because that was, man, you'd get to Shao Kahn, and he's just so hard. But anyways, this was Streets of Rage for the Streets of Rage 2. For Sega Genesis. This is one of my favorite games of all time. One of the best soundtracks. I would give this game a 10 out of 10. Has great graphics, great music, great controls, great gameplay. I mean, it doesn't really have much of a story, but it doesn't really need one. It's a perfect pick up and play 2-player game. Nothing better to play with a friend, couch co-op. But let me know what you guys think of this game, and what is your favorite beat 'em up. Let me know in the comments below, like, what your favorite beat 'em ups are. I'd really like to know. And until next time, I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.